Welcome back to Close Up. By this time in the New Hampshire primary process, we usually see the field start to winnow. And while some candidates on both the Democratic and Republican sides have dropped out, we've also seen two candidates, Deval Patrick and Michael Bloomberg, move forward to join the race. I spoke with ABC News political director Rick Klein about the field, last week's debate, impeachment, and where all of this might go. Thanks for joining us, Rick. We just had another big debate. Do you think there were any clear winners or losers? And what's the broader impact on the wider race?
I thought Pete Buttigieg appeared like a clear winner. He has been surging in polls in Iowa and New Hampshire, a little bit nationwide, and a lot of people thought he'd have a target on his back, and he emerged mostly unscathed, and I think had a couple opportunities to really soar above even his rivals and answer some tough questions. People are getting to know him, and I think he did well. I think we had some strong moments from Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, Kamala Harris. I think it wasn't the best of performances for Joe Biden. Some memorable moments for the wrong reasons, again, for the former vice president. We'll see if any of that sticks.
So 10 candidates on stage, another half dozen or so didn't make the stage. When we talk to New Hampshire Democrats, a lot of them are eager for this field to be winnowed down. Any signs that's happening, even as we see another couple trying to get into the race?
This is the time where the field usually contracts, and it's weird because it has been expanding of late. There are those signs that things could get winnowed down. As of now, a couple of the candidates that you saw just a night ago are not qualified for the December debate. Very hard to continue that way. Julian Castro didn't make the cut either, of course. Looming large across all of this is Deval Patrick, the former Massachusetts governor, now running. We'll see if he attracts support, and Michael Bloomberg, the former New York City mayor. So it's still very much in flux, but I think it's important to remember, even though you have this very large field, it's really been the same 5 candidates, the top 4 or 5 that have been there before and after every debate. So the onus is going to be on the people in the 1%, 2%, 3% range to break through, because at some point it's not enough just to make a debate stage. You have to be part of the conversation.
Let's take those two new additions individually, Michael Bloomberg and Deval Patrick. What is the path for each of those candidates and the strategy they're going to try to deploy to win?
Governor Patrick is hoping that there's just room for someone else to get a look, particularly in New Hampshire and then in states in the Deep South, starting in South Carolina, that have larger African-American blocks of voters. The hope is that he can channel a lot of what his good friend Barack Obama was able to do in having a more unifying theme, kind of an electability theme, a lot of the same kind of rhetoric that we heard from Obama so memorably. Governor Patrick's hoping to get the magic going again. Michael Bloomberg has a much different strategy. He's banking on chaos in the early going, and that's why he skipped filing in New Hampshire entirely. He's not competing in Iowa, New Hampshire, or Nevada. He's starting Super Tuesday, and really his strategy is entirely hinging on the idea that the early states are going to get split, and that Democrats are going to look for a savior, and that he's going to be maybe the only one who has the resources to play nationwide once the primary goes nationwide in March. So you could see that strategy blow up quite spectacularly early on, or you could see it pay off.
For Bloomberg, he seems to be very much approaching this from an investor mindset. And we hear from voters here in New Hampshire, they're wondering, what's he doing getting into this race without a base of support on the ground? But you look at what Tom Steyer's been able to do with his money in this race and the percentage points he's been able to accumulate. And you see, for Bloomberg, there's some potential there.
And Michael Bloomberg money is different than Donald Trump money or Tom Steyer money. If he were to spend $1 billion, and he's worth more than $50 billion, no one has ever seen that. He could potentially spend more than all of the other candidates combined. And if he does it across a range of national states, you can get your name out there, even if you don't qualify for the debates. You can become, again, part of that conversation. Now, look, Tom Steyer has a bit of a ceiling. I think Michael Bloomberg is a more substantial politician and businessman, and better known than Tom Steyer. But there are limits to what you can do just with money, although I think we're going to see those limits tested if and when Bloomberg runs.
Lots of high-profile impeachment testimony this last week. It appears more and more likely that this case will end up in the Senate. If so, what's the impact on the primary race for those 6 senators who would have to be stuck there in Washington?
Look, those senators are going to be chained to their desks during the entirety of an impeachment proceeding, and they're not even going to have an opportunity to question witnesses. They are literally going to sit there mute like jurors in a trial, which it is actually, for that entire time. Now, that's not ideal if you're trying to get things done in New Hampshire and elsewhere, but it's also a situation that fully half of the candidates on stage this week are going to find themselves in. The voting is going to continue as the voting does. I think it's hard for some of the candidates that aren't polling that well, like a Cory Booker, maybe a Kamala Harris or and Amy Klobuchar to continue campaign momentum or make something happen if you're not there. I don't think many people are worried about Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren. Whether they're in Washington or New Hampshire or Iowa, they're going to be just fine with their campaigns. I think it does, though, overshadow everything. And it's hard to even watch a debate like the one we did last night and not be thinking that the issues that those candidates are arguing over seem kind of small in comparison with the big stakes of the goings-on in Washington.
And thank you to Rick Klein for joining us.